Welcome back, everybody, to Conqueror Chronicles, Episode 2, following Season 44 of the Conqueror division of AD2L. I am back officially since my microphone wants to work once more. Hopefully, you won't be hearing me out of one ear this time around. And I'm joined back by my co-host, Phoenix. How's it going, buddy?
It's going great. And just if you do hear it out of one ear,
Suck it up.
that really sucks. Get fucked.
Yeah,
But
suck it up.
that's
And we are joined by two guests, one of which is actually, I think both are returning. I think we've had both on the show before.
Yeah.
First up, we have Twubz from MHKFC. Dude, I can call him whatever I
Yeah,
want.
what's up, guys?
He's a baller.
It's me, Twubz. Thanks for having me.
Followed by Twubz, we have old Stinky joining us once more. How's it going?
What the fuck is good content? No, I'm happy to be here.
I think
actually.
Wait, can I redo my intro? Can I
I would say I
again?
think that's
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
the
yeah.
best intro we've ever
What's
had.
up? It's Twubz, your boy. Team it up.
Whoa.
So
Yes.
quick side note for Chronicles here. This is the first time we've had two returning guests back to
Well-
back. So
well,
both of you guys
Hell
are
yeah.
they're both returning guests. And
I think that's a lie.
special celebration to Twubs. This is his third appearance. So he's now the most reappearing guest. out
I
of
also
everyone.
think that's a
So-
lie.
No,
very
no,
good.
We
the
had-
only, the
we
only
had
other person
Juke
is
on.
Benny.
No, we had
No, no.
Juke on. We had Jukester on for
Oh,
like 5
Juke.
episodes.
Yeah, but no, but okay,
R.I.P..
but Juke and Benny were like pseudo hosts. So
Yeah, they
that's
don't
like
count.
they don't
Not
count.
like I do.
Yeah,
That's fair,
They
I
don't
guess.
count like Twubs does. Twubs is just like
That's-
a raw.
he is
guest.
an actual guest. Yeah, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. Okay. Anyways, to segue into our first topic that we want to discuss for a little bit before we get into week 2 matchups, we want to start by talking about the meta. And as we all know, that meta has very quickly changed starting from actually our week 1 matchups. That patch dropped 7.39, fell into our laps right before our matches started. So how do you guys think those matches went week 1? Were your teams experimenting a little bit? Were you guys like, let's just run with, what we have been running in our scrims before this patch drop because we know it's good? Anybody like theory crafting during it? Old Stinky, we'll start with you because I know you've been thinking about this for a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, we got fucking crushed week 1 by the former champs, and we basically came into that under guidance from some higher MMR players that were basically just like, just play the same shit, everything's fine. And we went with Sand King, who was not fine, and got absolutely smoked by what I think we should have done, which is just go with Comfort Heroes from Spike's team. The week 2 is still not that great, but yeah, week 1 was definitely just like we were not prepared enough, and I think we should have defaulted to things that we know, pretty well, rather than just like what the previous meta was.
Got a little too lost in the sauce, some may say.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us. But
It does.
as an offlaner, because I'm also playing offlane right now as well. I'm
Yeah.
You're not playing
I'm
offlane, you're
moonlighting.
playing Tide.
Yeah,
You're playing
I'm-
Tide.
I'm-
No, yeah, you're
I'm,
not.
I'm
You're one of us.
moonlighting as an offlane.
You're
Yeah,
one
I'm playing on easy mode right now with Tide. But no, so as an offlaner though, specifically with how the meta shifts,
Yeah.
are you a fan of it? Because I know like on my end, I think it's really cool when heroes kind of are back in the meta that have been out for so long. Like
Yeah,
for
I love
example,
it.
I
I
know
mean-
I know everyone hates it right now, but I love Omni 3. I think it's really
It's
cool
sick.
that Omni is
also love it.
back. So yeah, is there any other
Annoying as
heroes that
hell.
you think are kind of back that you're pretty happy about besides the Brewmaster? I know you're gonna say Brewmaster. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, I never get to play him, but yeah, hey, I'm happy he's playable again after they nerfed him 100,000 times. But yeah, I mean, I think Mars is back, and I'm a huge Mars fan, so I'm happy about that. I think Dawn never really left, but she's like quite strong right now, which is pretty fun. Yeah, I think there's a lot of fun offlaners right now. I think I was hoping that with the Helm buff, we were going to be able to play a lot more Zoo. I think that that'll probably evolve, but it's not quite there right now as far as like total drafts go.
Okay. I mean, I could see a Zoo meta coming back. I'd actually prefer that, honestly. Zoo metas are probably one of my favorites just because there's so
Mine
much
too.
shit going on. I love it
Yeah,
when there's
it's
just
fun.
20 different things going on.
It's fun.
That's why I'm sad they
I
took Dawn's innate away. I love everybody's game crashing when, there's a PL on the map, as well as a Dawnbreaker when
Bro, new
daytime
innate
hits,
is insane though.
No, it is
Yeah,
actually
guys,
incredibly strong. It is
So
insane.
much damage.
I
It's
love losing
insane.
games in 20 minutes. You guys are right. Yeah, Z-Meta is
God.
awesome. That's
Oh
so much
my
fun.
god, get over it.
Anyways, I haven't heard somebody else talk yet. So, Twubz, I want to know what you're thinking about the meta and how your matches went.
Man, week 1, I was so prepared. I was grinding pubs. I was sick at like 4 heroes. It was TB, it was TA, it was Morphling, and it was Nature's Prophet. And that patch came out, and I read through. I was like, okay, these heroes are all shit. We can't pick any of these. And so we really diverged from that strategy. And I tuned the Dream League the next day, and they were picking all that shit. They were picking MP. They were
Yep.
picking TA. And I was like, God damn it. So the lesson I learned from this patch is to not deviate. The opposite of what Old Steve was talking about. Do not
Right.
deviate from the pre-planned strategy. Maybe some heroes get nuked like SK. But overall, like we could have picked TA. We could have picked NP. Could have picked probably everyone but like Morphling. It was still really, really good shape. So that was probably a mistake and lesson learned there. My hot take on the meta right now, I've been watching like a lot of StarCraft Brood War, which is like a 25-year-old game that's never had a balance patch besides the expansion itself. And so they've kind of like figured out how to play around imbalance. I feel like Dota, this patch right now is like kind of close to like a point where it could sit for like 10 years. And I think it would be a pretty good game for 10 years. And we'd figure out a lot of cool stuff, except
I
the
agree.
bullshit of Asian tier 1 items. Remove all that crap. But otherwise, like really good patch right now, I think.
See, the thing is, you could play Comfort if you played more like Phoenix and only played one hero.
That's true.
Because
That's
then
my
you
bad.
could get to play
That is
Comfort
true.
unless it's banned. But nobody's banning
That's true.
Tide right now, so it's actually just free Comfort at that point.
Well,
Nobody
look,
will ever ban Tide.
all I gotta say is Tide right now, 9 games, 88.88% win rate. So
He's
listen,
nice, dude. He's nice.
you don't have to play anything else if you just win every game on Tide.
His
Like, I don't
shard
know.
his shard might be a little too good.
It's been really good for so long, and they've not really nerfed it hard
No.
enough. I don't know. It's pretty crazy, but yeah. But specifically for carries though, Twubs, is there any
Yeah.
like carries like do you like the direction? Because I know that at least in pubs, I see a lot more Jug now than I used to, which
Jug
is
is good.
funny.
Jug's
You know,
really
it's funny. Like Icefrog does this thing where like after like a couple years, he'll just change things back to how they were originally, and everyone's like, "Oh wow, this is such a nifty change."
Mhm.
And it's like that's just what Spin was for years. But I guess it's cool that he's brought it back. But I see a lot of Jug right now. I'm seeing like a fair amount of Drow actually too. But I do think you're right though that this is one of the most balanced I think I've ever seen it. Like I really don't think there are that many bad heroes off the
Mhm.
top of my head. There's maybe like a couple that I don't see very much, but I think every hero right now is in a pretty good spot and has its place in the meta, which I think is really cool. So I'm a big fan.
I think there's a lot that we haven't discovered yet, too. Like as the entire Dota community trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I think there's a lot of stuff over the next like couple months or emerge to be like, oh, that's a really good hero. Oh, like Omni Knight's a new version of that. It's like week 1 of the patch. No one's thinking about Omni Knight. I don't know if he got touched in the B patch. I could be wrong.
Omni
there.
did. Yes, no, he
Yeah,
did.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, never mind.
Yeah, early levels damage reduced by quite a bit.
Yeah, and they also nerfed the cooldown of the E. Early level in
At
particular,
level
it's
4.
not
I would say
great.
he's
Yeah.
not as like lane
Also-
dominant anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's 1 second more on his level 4 E that on cooldown late game, but otherwise the damage is the same, and then damage reduced at levels 1 through 3.
Yeah.
I think it's really
Yeah.
cool that Nature's Prophet is still a viable position 1. Maybe it's a little like messed up.
I
the hero's
don't
that
think
good,
that's cool.
but
I do not think that's cool. That is not cool.
everyone's like,
It's
"Oh my god, this
anti-cool.
tree's so OP," and then they remove the tree. It's like, "Oh, well, it was a little OP, but also the rest of the hero is also pretty good." I like
Turns
Nature's
out
Prophet. It's my second
teleport's
most
a
played
good
hero.
ability.
Yeah, Sprout too. Annoying as hell.
I mean, we still have to
Shocker.
find out what Dormant Curio can do against tier 5 items. I'm still trying
That's
to
a
get
good
that in
point.
my pubs, but my pubs just aren't
Mizzou
going long enough
Bloodlight.
right now. So, I sometimes I even skip over that, and I'm still holding my Curio,
No.
waiting for that 60-minute mark to hit, and it just never happens. So
It's just unfortunate. What can you do?
it really is. It really is. But as this meta goes on, more and more is going to be found out, and hopefully we see some interesting things as the season goes on, and some of these teams get to find out some interesting tech that they can use to their advantage. Hopefully. But segueing into our first match of week 2 that we are going to go over. We have actually, Twubs, your matchup, so you can actually give us some insider information here. Um, Game 1 looks like an absolute stomping from you guys.
Yeah.
So
I think that was the worst stomp I've seen in Conk in a long time. It was pretty bad. That's yeah, it must be a bug actually.
Oh,
That's good. Yeah. How did that first game feel, Twubs?
Yeah. Disclaimer: if any of the core Curry Quest guys are listening, no flame intended. You're all very nice people. I'm just gonna try and speak objectively.
But you suck.
Yeah, you guys
also
all-
suck shit. You
I'm
got
kidding,
shit.
I'm kidding. I think this game. So if you notice, Chandler is drafting this season, which is new. Initially, it was MHK in seasons 41 and 42, and I think I did it in season 43, and I didn't want to do the season, so Chandler's doing it. And one thing that stood out to me in this game is that in the draft we got to pick all the things we kind of wanted to pick thematically, and then on top of that, I felt like going into the game, I was like, I think we're gonna win every lane. Like I felt like the lane matchups were good. It was like Jakiro into the Naga, so we can clear the illusions. It was Ursa against the Underlord. So I was just feeling really good about the lanes. And then if you watch this replay, this game was so fun to play. It's like three people running around bottom, Ursa plus the two supports killing people, and then Gab would show up on the puck and get kills. And then it was like 3-man with the puck and the two supports. And I think I get Battle Fury like minute 11, and we go and take the Underlord stacks in the triangle. So this is a super fun game to play. I wouldn't agree into this too much to say that Core's carry quest has like big problems as a team, because I think sometimes if you just lose all 3 lanes, it kind of just becomes like very flow charting with our lineup, where you can just kind of run you down. And so I think after we won the 3 lanes, it was kind of inevitable, unless we really, really fucked up, that this game was going to end up something like this. I was really happy with this game. Honestly, I was worried in the past on teams when a game like this has happened game 1. You get a little too excited. You're like, we fucking own them. This team blows. We're so much better. And then you just get shit on game 2 because you're underestimating them.
Oh yeah.
And you're like relaxing too much. And so
Yeah.
so I was happy too that we didn't let the performance game 1 kind of inflate our egos too much that game 2 was affected.
If I could really quickly tag something in here too, like if we look at the draft, like I, in my opinion, like okay, so Course Kelly's Quest, they have a lot of really good Naga Siren players. I really hope that they don't keep trying the Naga Siren. I understand that you have a lot of good Naga Siren players, but I really don't think Naga's very good. And I think that the problem that they did in this game in particular is they have a lot of really squishy backliners. Like they have AA as a pos 5, a relatively weak laner. Like that's been kind of AA's problem, is that he's a relatively weak laner. They paired that with Naga, who's a weak laner, and then they have a ringmaster that's also kind of like a very backliney, like doesn't want to get gone on, wants to try to like counter save. But then they paired that with an underlord who's just going to get shit pumped by an Ursa, right? So it felt like they kind of put themselves in a position where it was very challenging for them to win the lanes, and it was very challenging to make the space necessary for MHK to not just steamroll them, right? Because like Naga's just gonna like also split and farm, right? Like that's what Naga's gonna do, right? So you're having the safe laner that's gonna want to just like split and farm and do his own thing for like 25 minutes, but then once again you kind of had heroes in lanes that couldn't withstand the pressure of that. I think is my biggest takeaway from that. Um, but hopefully obviously moving forward they can kind of correct that a little bit. It also seemed like in this game in particular, like I watched Core's POV, seemed like he was a little unsure of himself on the drafting front. Like he was really taking a long time on like bans, and like seemed like he was like asking people like for their input, like but after waiting a while. So it just seemed like he was a little like kind of all over the place. But once again, I'm sure that with some time that he can kind of clean that up, and I think they'll be fine. But Stinky, do you have anything to add to this game in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty surprised to see like the Naga pick do this, but I think I generally agree with the squishy backline theory, and also like Underlord is really bad into like the Slark Ursa heroes, and the fact that Ursa's also just like a 55% win rate hero right now is like just gonna be disastrous. But if maybe, yeah, I don't know. That lane seems like a sack, and then the other 2 lanes, the Lena mid losing seems a little sus. I don't think that's supposed to happen like that.
To be fair, we gave Gav 24 pick, right? So, like he
Okay.
gets a matchup
He
that I
wanted
don't
it.
know how Puck Lena is.
I
I'm
didn't think
a
it was that
retired mid
bad.
player. I don't touch that
Yeah.
anymore. However, like if your mid player is like, I want the puck into the Lena, even
Of
just having like
course.
the confidence, knowing like I
Uh,
want to play that, it's probably gonna make the
absolutely.
lane easier.
Yeah.
You have an idea of
So
mine.
yeah. I mean, this is a beating.
But by the way, Core is good at Nagasar, and I think there's one moment in this game where I like run into our jungle as Ursa, and there's like 4 Naga illusions hitting 4 of our jungle camps all at once. And I'm like, what the hell? I thought these guys were losing hard, but like he's putting up a good fight and like clearing our jungle. I think we
Yeah.
caught him there, but like it was like a very like cute type of way of playing the game when this far behind. And it was like good grittiness, I thought.
For sure. Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
game 2 unfortunately did not go Coruscary's quest way as well. Although I will say this time around they did put up a better fight for sure. I think at one point was it not like 5-0 or 6-0 at one point? Like I think they were doing
They were winning
relatively
this
good.
game for, if you look at the net worth graph, they were winning this game for almost all of it actually. Yeah.
Oh my. Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, they had Aegis too. They were up about 6K net worth with Aegis.
Oh, it's not
Um,
that much, but
yeah, I think I'll rattle off for a little bit about this. First off, this is my first season playing carry. I think this game is very emblematic of something that I've learned since like starting the practice pause one and then playing like scrims and officials, which is that more is my opinion. I think many people would disagree with this, but more than any other role, I think pause one is one of like mental discipline and your ability to maintain focus. And it feels like in the majority of games, I feel like my fate and my team's phase kind of in my hands where like maybe they can pop off and play super well or maybe they can play poorly, but like if I just really focus up and play to the best of my abilities, we're gonna win. And this game felt like one of those where it's just like I just need to hone in, I need to not make stupid mistakes, I need to stick to like the gameplay I know I can do. And this replay, if you watch it, it's a lot of like they're running around with Aegis and we're all just like pushing side lanes. It's like me and Lost hitting a T2 and then Gab is like pushing out another lane and then they're frantically with their very small amount of building damage trying to take like another T2, and we're like out pushing them and splitting the map while their Aegis is going. So I was like super happy with this game. I thought we collectively played it really well, and I was also pretty proud of like I thought I focused very well and did all the things I had to do.
Yeah, you definitely hard carried that game for sure. I don't have too much to add to this game in particular. Just one thing that I would throw out that I'm not a big fan of. I think that if you lose the first game, I think the onus is on you to kind of change something up. I am very shocked they let you get Ursa 2 games in a row. I think
Wraith
that's
King was in the pool too.
crazy. Yeah, I think that's crazy. Like
yeah, like we've
especially
said a
because
lot
you
of
like
words about this, and they just got Ursa twice. That's all I see.
yeah, like I don't know, like they kind of got dicked down by Ursa in game 1 and then they kind of just like and the best part is that they also picked a Tide while leaving Ursa open. So it's like even more surprising to me.
I would
Like you
say
you
yeah,
pick Tide but
they
it hates
picked two
Ursa.
heroes that don't want to lane against
They're Lord and Tide
Ursa
into
Slug
Ursa.
type
Yeah,
heroes, and they're like, ah, we'll
it's
be
literally
fine.
what happened in my games. So
Yeah,
They,
stupid.
it's
they were they
a
were
little
actually winning
surprising.
bottom, I think, for a big amount of time, and then they made a small mistake that luckily me and Lost Person were able to capitalize on, where IPA went to the Wisdom Rune at minute 7, and we kind of like saw him run that direction. So like 6:55, we went onto the Tide and got the kill, and I think that was the moment that kind of cracked the lane open, and I think I gained like 1,000 net worth on the Tide after that point. But like they were actually, if you watch the replay, they were doing really well bottom, I thought, up until that point, and then it kind of went downhill. I think I got a fast Battle Fury from there.
I will say just to quickly shout out Cloud because he's not normally a mid player. I think he played pretty good in the series, honestly, especially for not normally playing mid. I think he first blooded Printer this game too, which is really cool. Like I think he played really good. I'm actually surprised with the Phoenix mid pick. To be honest, I don't really get it. I think
Hey, that
Necro's
was my
like kind of.
idea. I was very proud of it.
Oh really? I don't really love it to be honest with you, especially against Necro. Like I feel like Necro kind of shits on him, which he kind of did. So, but you know what? I think it was a good you know good try. They were winning a lot of the game, and hopefully they do better next week. But Stinky, do you have anything to add on this?
Yeah, no, nothing. I mean, like I said, a lot of words. Ursa, GG.
Fair
There you
enough.
go.
I would say one thing before we move on at all from course carry quest is I think this team like has tons of potential. I think that Core is I don't know anything about Core, to be honest, but this is someone who played in Heroic and I think did very well. So this is like fundamentally a good Dota player, objectively, trying out a new role. And I would probably expect this team to get better and better over time as Core gets more used to pause one. There's a few moments, a fair amount of moments this game when you watch the replay from Core's POV that it was like definitely clear that it was a support player at their core, like playing pause
Yeah,
one,
like
versus like someone who's a pause one
support.
player.
Yeah, I
There's
know what you mean.
two things I'll call out. Like one is like it was a lot of like 5-man death bowling, and I think Razor's net worth kind of suffered from that because there just wasn't enough farming going on, and we were farming the whole map, and so I got ahead. I think Gav got ahead. I think Casey got ahead, and then there's one like really interesting moment in this game that is really emblematic for what I'm talking about, where we were they thought we were in Roche and we smoked to the radiant, like tip of the jungle to the southeast of Roche, and we were on the high ground. And Core broke the smoke on the low ground, which is like an amazing support play. If he did that as like the pause 5, you'd be like, holy shit, what amazing positioning. But you're the pause 1, and then we went on him and got the kill, and that was like a big moment in the game, I thought.
Yep.
But it was like, wow, that's like such a good play if you're playing support. But
Yeah,
pause
not-
1 is like a
not
really
that
bad
one.
play. And so I think I tried to
Sheesh.
play support last season, and I did awful. And so I just think that like those transitions take a lot more time and a lot more practice in pubs, in scrims, and etc. And so I think they're good. They're footing, but it's just like a big transition.
Also, but quick, really quick before we move to next week too. Also want to add, I think if Core can improve his hero pool, it'll benefit this team. There was like the first game, I'm pretty sure they suggested like 3 or 4 different carry heroes, and Core was like, "Oh, I don't really play that hero," and it's like, well,
Wait, how do you know this? They like did someone stream their POV?
Corded, yeah, Corded.
Oh shit!
So
I
yeah,
gotta go watch that. Oh,
yeah, there
well,
was
I didn't know
oh
that.
wait, I'm like doxing their strats now. But yeah, there was like 3
Oh, yeah.
meta carries that he said he couldn't play that
Wow.
are like
He's in
really
practice
good
IO.
meta carries.
I was
So,
warning Chandler. I was like, Chandler, they're gonna pick IO pause 1, and then the next game they're gonna pick IO and it's gonna be support core, and they're gonna like lane swap or something. And it didn't happen. But I want to see the IO pause 1. He has been practicing it.
just in the
It's
interest
good.
of time, let's go to the next series
Sure.
because I know we got a couple other series to get through here. Now this one, okay, this one was the most surprising to me. I'm gonna be honest. Like it's funny because I think the first episode,
Surprising to you.
I think I said I think I said Gridheim should have not picked up Appa and played Warrior. They then proceed to 2-0 Mango Tank.
Man,
So I'm a fucking idiot. So but
Here's the
Stinky,
thing.
obviously this is
Yeah,
gonna
here's the
be
thing. Here's the thing. That I was told, and I had heard from many people that this gentleman guy's a good player, and I was just like, yeah, all right, he's divine, whatever. I've played many divine players,
No, he's good.
played against many carries. He's very good.
Yeah, he's good.
I was definitely underestimating them, and I also think that this is just another tale of like double Ursa. It was brutal. I think that, like I was saying in the pre-show, I think you can basically pick Mars into Ursa and like that's it. And I was joking with my pause for Icarus about it. We were just it's like, yeah, like you want like some repositioning on this from the off lane, like against this draft. But the repositioning we chose was Magnus, who takes Ursa with him. You want someone who can reposition him away.
Without him,
I was just skewering and dying. Like it was not good.
Yeah, no, Appa, like I know this is like a bit of a joke, but he is a formal or a former immortal. I know there's a lot of former immortals, but yeah, he
Oh
is
yeah.
he is one, but he is pretty good, 100%. I will say my only comment on this draft wise, I really like I know Rubik mid can be good, and I know someone's kid plays it really good.
Yeah.
I am not a personal big fan of it. I think that it's like one of those heroes where you stomp the lane, and then unless you can transition that really effectively, you're just
Yeah.
gonna lose because you have a Rubik mid. So like I'm
Big problem.
personally not a big fan of it. But
Yeah, we've ran it a bunch. He's a sicko on Rubik. Like
I will say it
He
also
is,
is
yeah.
like
2 or 3 times this game. Like it was very he played really well. The biggest problem was just our offlane crumbling to this Ursa, and like we had no recourse essentially.
I would
We
say
had,
it
like
is
nothing.
also
We had,
like
like
a
nothing if we lose that lane.
it is a huge Rubik game too, like Disruptor,
Oh,
Tag,
it was
Death Prophet,
it was a
Witch
great.
Doctor. Like,
I
it
mean,
is a
I hear
solid
you,
Rubik
and
game.
yeah, I hear you on that, and I agree most of the time. But I've played enough with someone's kids Rubik mid to know that like when he calls it, like I'm just like, yeah, all right, you can have it. And I want to be really clear here because I feel like I get a lot of credit for this being Stinky's team. This is not my team. This is Calm's team. I don't draft. I'm there. I say things, but I'm not drafting. Calm's draft. BTRA. Calm is drafting. We kind of have like a collaborative process for the draft. Generally speaking, this isn't like a dictatorship. Like you were saying, Core's asking people and waiting and burning time and stuff. You want them to just do the calls. That's not how we do the drafts. So we hear Austin say, or someone's kid say he wants, his Rubik. I'm like, all right, you got it.
Twubz, what do you think about this this matchup? Were you surprised by the 2-0 for Hive?
Not hugely so. I feel like Grin Hive and Mango Tango are both teams that like I had no idea about. There was some rumblings preseason of Mango Tango being a rigged, busted team, and so I was a little bullish on them. But that was like a lot of teams that got called rigged and busted. So
Yeah.
no strong opinion. This is a hard game. The Ursa is like really strong. Like I don't know how you win that lane early. Witch Doctor Ursa is pretty good.
That's a really
yeah.
good lane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the game
maybe you need to
one,
do
we
some, like,
had the Witch Doctor. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. 24 pick. I feel like this is like maybe my drafting flaw, but I always feel like you need to like have something really punchy with the 24 pick because you have like the final pick, and it seems like in practice the Slark wasn't actually like that big of a difference maker. I think they lost that lane. I was looking at the net worth at minute 10. I think Tide was 200 ahead, and so that always kind of feels bad whenever you have like the last pick. You have the kind of like this like final ace up your sleeve, and it doesn't come together. It always is going to make things manifest from the draft kind of poorly, I think.
I'm a little shocked actually, because like I also heard this rumblings of this rigged team. Like I really thought Mango
rumblings.
Tango. Okay, because like
say some names, you freaks.
Calm-
What is the rumblings?
Okay, well because
People were saying Calm was
if you-
like immortal D ranker or something.
he's
Yeah.
former 2K. Yeah, like
he's good. He's a good player.
I assumed that with that, like with Calm carry, and you have someone's kid mid, he's good. I know he's good.
He's good.
And then I thought with you as the offlaner, I thought your
Bad.
Tricore was like
Bad.
one of the best.
You're
right?
mistaken. I'm bad.
Well, yes, this is what we're learning.
I found your
This is what we're learning. This is what we're learning. Yeah. But I thought with that tricord that you guys were going to be a really strong team. But it's only been 2 weeks, so I guess we can't look too much into it. But I will say I'm very shocked about this 2-0 in particular.
I have been humbled immensely. I'll say that publicly.
Let's go to
here's a question for you
as well.
while we're talking about your series. Do you feel like if so what me and Phoenix are saying, I have no idea. I'm just repeating what I hear. But it's like, on paper this team is super good. Do you think that on paper it's like everyone's really good, like the whole league, a lot of teams just have really good players? Or do you think that you expect your team to improve as you kind of gel together more, and that it might just be like we need to become a better team, but collectively we're good players? I guess it's kind of hard. Yeah.
No, I mean, you definitely set up the question.
Sure,
but I think that is kind of where I'm at. I think that we have. I mean, I'll just give you the full history. Austin, someone's kid, and I have been playing Dota together for a long time. We're good friends. We went to Miami together last year with some of our other Dota friends and had a blast. We actually had AD2L up on the big screen TV in the hot tub watching the league games at the end of it. So we have great chemistry. Calm and Bollock are also real life friends. They were just new to the league, brand new to the league. Austin and I, we played on or someone's kid and I, we played on the Wild Daddy stack last season. We were just looking separately for teams, and Calm recruited us for both individually, separately, and then we just ended up in the same Discord server. Like, oh, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck are you doing here? We ended up playing on this. We needed a pause for, so we've got 3 and then Icarus is our pause for, who's completely separate from everyone. So we have these 3 disparate, collectives trying to come together. And I think it's really we're just trying to figure out, like you said, how to gel together better, just get some better team chemistry. Because I do think that individually we all play good Dota. I think I'm always impressed by my teammates' plays. It's just we gotta work on the chemistry portion, but.
Sure, probably team identity too. You got to figure out what is our thing. That's 5 people on one team. What do we do well? Who's our guy?
That's
Well,
what we've
listen.
been. Yeah, we were struggling
Listen,
with.
Stinky, I mean, I think you guys got to try to figure this out a little quicker. I mean, you guys down 0-4. You got to fucking shape up or
Holy
shit
dude.
the fuck out,
See,
all
the thing
right?
is, if
We're
you
I'm
cooked.
I'm I'm selling my fucking Mango Tango stocks,
Dude,
bro.
we're
I don't know.
cooked, man.
I was trying to hold
Who
here.
do we play
I was
this
trying
week?
to buy and hold, but you guys are fucking shit in the bed. So I'm gonna
Oh
need a little bit
man.
more from you next week, all right? Otherwise,
To be fair,
I,
there's
I,
5 teams with only 1 win, and so things
Yeah.
are wide open. In 1 week, and suddenly it's like you're in
Ah.
playoffs.
now I know that game 2 is not available. We were kind of talking about it a little bit. It sounds like you guys kind of got beat pretty convincingly, and then there was the
Yeah.
crash, and then you guys kind of just wanted to move on. Correct?
Yeah.
That's the game 2.
Yeah, we had a witch doctor in game 1. I remember we got Ursa'd. Man, I honestly don't even remember. Let's see. This is the Magnus game. This is the one I remember the most. The other one, I really don't even remember who I was playing. It's a blur. I try not to think about that game.
You're in a drunken stupor. All right, you know he's trying to move past
I
it,
was
guys.
fucking
You're like,
plastered. Yeah, who knows?
he's got
No, they. I mean, they
PTSD.
played really well. The Ursa like hard carried both games. Not to say that their other players weren't playing well, but that was the biggest issue for us in both games for sure.
Okay, fair enough. So we should probably move to the next week, just on the interest of time, then. So unfortunate, but
helmets
I'm sure Mango
on,
Tango are gonna bounce back. Oh, my goats! My
helmets
goats
on
this
versus
We
week.
got the
Crownfall Fishing Club.
dub.
They finally won a game.
Now, just once again for the added caveat here, they do have a stand-in for Black Up this week and last week. Once again, think Black Up's one of their best players, if not their best players. So missing him mid is going to be a big deal. That being said, they did 1-1 this week, so that's pretty cool. And I think Minoy stood in again, if I remember rightly. I believe
Yep.
was the one.
Wow, they
Minoy.
got Manoy,
Yeah, they got Minoy.
Warrior
So that's
Champ.
Warrior Champ 20 times or whatever the fuck. Yeah.
Jesus.
Looks like he
So
popped
1-1
off on
week.
Quap too.
Yeah, he did pop off. Are you guys surprised about this result? Does this make sense to you? I feel like this makes sense. And I mean, looking
This is
at the
rigged
draft
Manoy
here,
carrying them.
yeah, I mean, exactly, right? Exactly. Now, is that Crownfall with a mid Zeus? Is that what I'm seeing?
That is Crownfall with a
Oh, boy.
mid Zeus.
Yeah, I love Zeus. Just for the record, Zeus is one of my favorite heroes. Like, I think he's my second favorite after
Singular.
Viper. I think Zeus mid. I think if you pick Zeus mid right now, you're probably asking to lose. I don't think it's
Probably
very good.
griefing.
You need to snowball so incredibly hard with the Zeus mid. Like you really have to fucking just chugga choo choo that shit down to a fucking win. Otherwise, you are fucking rinsed. So I
Well,
don't
they did
like
get the
that
Ursa
very
ban,
much. But
that's smart.
they did ban Ursa. Yeah, there's no Ursa. This is the first game with no
Interesting.
Ursa. Literally the first game with no Ursa. So that's good. But yeah, no, I think HO drafted some really interesting heroes here. I think it made sense together too. They have some nice control. Like it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, it's a
Is that
Muerta carry. Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Muerta carry.
That's sick.
I've heard a few people say how Muerta carry is like the shit right now. Like they're convinced
Muerta
that
carry's
Muerta's
really
like,
strong.
yeah.
I've
yeah.
won every pub on it. I think it's.
I'm one of
good.
them.
I think
Yeah.
Well, I
agree.
mean, if in that case, I mean, if Twubz wins every pub on it, it's got to be really good.
I
No,
lose most of my pubs, man.
Whenever I play support, I play support. I play Pos 4. I pick Muerta. I win. I'm like 70% win rate on Pos 4 Muerta right now.
you know what's
Two
crazy
anecdotes.
though? Like
that is data at that point.
I think so.
It
Yeah,
is,
that's what they
it's not-
say. That's what they say.
The only thing I would say if I was to switch something out for CFC this game, I actually like their draft a lot. The only thing I don't like is the Zeus. Like they have a lot, like the Dark
Yeah.
Seer is really good.
Darkseer
The
is really good
the
with
Vac
Jakiro.
wall into the gyro,
Yep.
ulti with the Jakiro Macropyre, like that sounds amazing. And then it's like, oh, and then you have a Zeus. Like I'm just picturing, like imagine they had a Quap or like they had a, I don't know, something other than a Zeus. I feel like they would have had better success. That's my only really, main
You
thing to
didn't get
mention
like
here.
a
But
blink on that Zeus either. So like, what's their initiation here? It's only vacuum essentially. I guess clock hook.
Clock hook, that's about it though. Yeah, they have a
Yeah.
lot of counter initiation, not much
Yeah,
fight
exactly.
like yeah. Whereas if you look
And
at
this Quap-
HO,
Right.
yeah, like they have multiple sources, right? Like they have the Quap Blink, they have the Earthshaker Fissure, they have the Underlord Root. They have a lot more kind of obvious ways
Yeah,
to start a fight.
Zeus
and
gets fissured, like he's Quap blinks,
dead.
he's just dead. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just dead. Absolutely. Twubz, do you have anything else that you want to
Yeah,
toss
I'm gonna give
in?
a blasphemous take here. How about this one? Here's a anecdote, and I'll connect it. In college, one time, I tried cocaine, and everyone.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
keep going. Let him cook.
What?
Let him
Keep
cook.
going.
Yeah, let him
What?
finish. Let him finish here.
Oh
Everyone,
my
everyone,
God.
everyone hypes it up like it's an awesome drug, right? Like it's gonna make you feel great. And I didn't get high at all. There was no high. It sucked, and then I felt like shit for like 2 days.
That's
Like I just
crazy.
wasn't
What the
happy at
fuck?
all. And I was like, this is the worst drug ever. I'm never doing it again. I kind of feel like this is a blasphemous part. I feel like Helmets On is a little bit like my cocaine experience, where
This is excellent. This is an
where
excellent analogy.
everyone hypes him up a whole bunch, right? They're like, it's literally like
There's
Black Ops
no-
Angels.
there's
Black
no
Ops
Whoa,
way.
whoa,
Angels is
whoa,
champ.
whoa!
And
I
I
know
heard
you're
so much
not
about
calling out
Helmets
Black
On.
Ops Angels right now.
Wait a minute. Wait a
Let him
minute.
finish.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah, let me cook,
HO
let me
is
cook.
like my cocaine
Let him
experience. in high
finish.
school.
Yeah,
No way. Okay.
Yeah, I just heard a lot of bounces. I joined AD2L in like season 41. They were really good in like season 42 or something. Maybe it was 41 where they won, something like that. Anyways, I've heard so much. Black Ops really good on Napa, and I don't know, man. They're 1-3, and no offense to Crownfall Fishing Club, nothing but love to you, my brethren. But this is not a good team. This team is historically a pretty bad team. I hope hoping for the best for you guys, but not a good showing. And in the game they won, it was Manoy who popped off. And also, listen, I got to apply evenly to all teams. Whenever game one is like a stomp in one team's favor, and then game two is like really close and the other team wins, that's like a spiritual like 1.7 to 0.3 or like 1.5 to 0.5.
Yeah, I agree
That is not a
with you on
1-1.
that.
That's 1.5 to 0.5.
100%.
And
Well, the
so
good thing
I'm-
is HO actually got stomped game 2. So what is it
Like,
now?
can we just? I just gotta say, I will. That's gotta be the episode name. I have never fucking
sick
heard a
one.
funnier
That was
thing
a
in my
sick
life.
one, dude.
HO is like my cocaine fucking college experience. Holy shit.
And
Okay,
maybe one day I'll try it again. Maybe I'll
Wait,
tune
wait.
into the Helmets On game and it'll be great. I can hope,
Well,
but
you
for now,
can tune in this
I
week
don't
because
know.
Black Up is officially back this week and will be playing.
Oh man.
Okay, I also just want to quickly say too, while I appreciate what you're saying, two things to consider with
Yeah.
HO. Number one, group stage HO ain't
they don't
shit.
give a fuck.
You
They don't give a
gotta wait
flying
the
fuck.
playoffs. Okay,
Yep.
I'm gonna put this on record. If I'm in a lower bracket run, I would rather face any other team other than HO. You bet your
Yes.
life on it. I would
100%.
not want HO in a lower bracket run. They will crush your dream like they
I
did
agree
to
with
me
Phoenix on everything
many
he said
seasons
so
in a row. Now, the other thing, you got to understand, and I appreciate what you're saying. Week one, you have to remember they had a double stand in. That's pretty tough. That's pretty tough. Like one stand in for one player, maybe you can, maybe you can swing that. Like I don't know. I think a double stand is hard for a lot of teams to play with, but I do appreciate what you're saying because,
Thank you.
like I mentioned in the group stage, they can be a little dubious sometimes. 100%, they can have a little bit of like sketchy matches here and there. But yeah, I'm telling you, man, in a playoff run, you don't want HO.
Sure.
You don't want HO.
Yeah, I think
100%.
in a couple weeks you'll be begging for the Black Up Angels to not flame
Sure,
you.
sure. We'll see. We'll see. I'm holding out hope.
Can't believe
Okay,
you threw
that's
Black
fair.
Up.
Yeah, when
Angels
Jesus
under
showed
the
up, they didn't
bus
believe
like
in him.
that.
And then, he started curing leprosy.
All right.
What
Once
the
he started
fuck?
curing leprosy.
All right, cut this man up. Starts with cocaine, he ends with Jesus.
Holy fuck, Twubz. It's okay.
I
Anyway-
gotta see the
Yeah,
miracles.
this episode is the 12th special right here. Holy crap.
Okay, so anyway,
It's like
game
he's
two.
Game
honorary
2.
third host.
Game two. Okay, let's lock in here. Let's lock in.
Game
Game
2,
two.
Helmets On got
Okay.
smacked around.
Yeah, they got stomped by CFC game two, which is a little surprising actually. Now I will say they did go a little bit interesting with the Pudge 4. That's a little bit interesting. I think they also had a Manoy Wind mid. I'm not a big believer in Wind mid either, and I love Wind. That's another
I think they
hero
were
that I
cooking
really
a little
like.
Too hard here.
Yeah, they might have been cooking a little too much. I like CFC's draft a lot more. With the actually, can you go up a little bit actually, just so I can see the draft really quick? Sorry. Yeah, I think their draft made a lot more sense. Like the Life Stealer was really good against a lot of the heroes on HO. I love Tide. I'm a big Tide believer naturally. So I think it was one of those things where I think they just had a little bit of a better draft, and it seems like they executed a little bit better for sure.
I think this is a classic case of one team's fight is 100,000 times easier to execute than the other team's fight.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Look at these
100%.
heroes on
Yeah.
the Crownfall side versus the. Can you imagine a team fight with those 5 heroes? Pudge, Windranger, Slark, Tinker. Like, what are they gonna do?
I would say they all want to go
It's
on their
gonna
own
run
person.
in and out the whole
Mhm.
fight. You're gonna get
Yeah.
ravaged and everyone dies. Like,
It's like very hard for them to start a fight, and it's very hard for them to
yes,
take a
it's
fight.
impossible.
Like
It's literally
even if
impossible.
Pudge hooks, right? Like so Pudge
Right.
hooks, that's like the best
Who are you
situation,
hooking?
right? Who are you hooking, number one? And then if you're not hooking, I mean, like the tide will just blink Ravage, and you'll just get counter initiated on that.
Exactly.
So it's just
Are
a
you gonna hook
tough.
Tide? No.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree with you 100%. Twubs, do you have anything to add on this game too?
I think that's a good point. They sometimes encounter that in the draft where it's like you have like 2 guys going in and 2 guys like juking around the fight and 1 guy blinking in and out. It's like we just need to like fight somewhere.
Yep.
We need to have some sort of nucleus for our fight, and it can be difficult, especially like Slark's jumping in and out, Wind Ranger's diving in and out, and you need someone to attract attention. If you can be the mosquito on the side, and there's no one to like really get the attention so you can be the mosquito, then they're just gonna slap you and smush you and you die.
Like, they have the axe, but I just like the axe call goes down, and it's the
Mhm.
same thing. The counter initiation is just so much stronger.
And
You-
what if
you have to
Axe
get to this
blinks in and you get a
backline.
bad call? What if you miss your call? What
Right.
happens then?
Right.
Pudge hooks you out, and if
it's
not,
over
you die.
immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also gotta say, like, if I'm thinking of like a really bad dual lane, I think Axe Pudge has to be up there with like I'm really not
pretty
sure.
sus.
Like, it's pretty like I don't know, dude. Like, I think that's pretty unfortunate. But anyway,
Nothing
yeah.
against Pudge, honestly, but like it's the rest. It's like if you're gonna draft the Pudge, you need to have the rest of the team figured out, because like you can't make a Pudge draft where if Pudge doesn't do Pudge things, you lose. Like, you can't do that. You need to
Well,
let
and
him miss some hooks. You know, and
it's
just
also like
guarantee everything.
Pudge Axe against Life Stealer Shadow Shaman. Like
Yeah,
that
it's
is
pretty
like
fucking
such a good
impossible
lane.
lane.
Like that's
It's
so
impossible.
challenging.
I
Anyway,
don't know
we,
if picking Slark that early is super viable right now either. I don't know if the hero's that good where if you pick it on 14, there's 3 more heroes coming that
I disagree with you. If they did they do this Tide first? I can't see the numbers. Was Tide before Slark?
it
Yeah,
no,
was
it
tied
was
first.
after.
Tide was
Oh,
before
It
Slark.
Oh
was
yes,
tied
it was.
And
Yes,
also,
right.
I'm going to take it back a little bit. If they play Slark pause 4, if that's like on the table, then it makes it infinitely more okay because you can
Yeah.
just flex it. It's totally okay if they waste a bunch of counters on it.
Ursa wasn't banned though. Like I feel like you should have just picked Ursa.
Ursa
It
was
was
banned.
You guys
banned.
didn't get the memo?
Ursa
Oh, it
was
was.
banned.
Okay, I apologize.
Both these
I
games, it was
apologize.
first phase banned.
I apologize. Okay, yeah, that
did
is a good
get the
point
memo.
though. All right, we should probably go to
Next.
next week just because I still can't believe you said HO was your fucking cocaine. That's fucking crazy. Okay. So this week is really, really interesting.
Actually, should we
I
save
think
this
for
one for
two.
last? This one's juicy.
No, let's do it live. So there's something I got to mention about this that's really I think relevant in particular for this matchup. So on the night of the games, everyone remembers there was 2 bugs, right? So one was with Dazoon.
He's on. Yeah.
So you couldn't pick that. Now the other one was with a hero called Elder Titan. Now something to consider. Spooky Scary Skeletons is really good with ET, and it is 100% a hero that you have to consider banning against SSS because they are very good with that hero. So I think inherently in this week's matchup, they were on a back foot because of that ET ban or like that, like that bug, right? I will also mention. So before this game, they had actually drafted a game 1. And the draft game 1, I actually think was really in the favor of SSS. There's no way for you to pull it up. I only got a screenshot, but the long and the short of it was that SSS had a Disruptor ET with a Night Stalker Sniper Wraith King. Now, like that lineup is like classic SSS. I think it made so much sense to me. Like I think it was actually better than the 89 Pistons draft. However, they had to redraft because they couldn't play with ET, right? So I just wanted to mention that right off the bat, I think they were at a little bit of a back. Like it was just unfortunate for them, right? Because that's a pretty big deal that they can't have one of their best heroes. The other thing, they don't have Anik. Now Anik is 100% their best player. I think that's a pretty big handicap. Number one, you can't have one of your comfort heroes. You don't have your best player. Okay, so I just wanted to give the caveats out of the way first because I think those are both pretty relevant to this storyline in particular this week. Now that being said, 89 Pistons did 2-0. So congrats to them. That was awesome. This first game was also a pretty big beatdown too. It wasn't really that
Looks
close. I watched Sun's POV. He also streamed this, by the way, if anyone's interested. So he did stream both games. It was pretty one-sided this game. Like they kind of just snowballed right from the start. Also, one other quick side note before you guys jump in. Not only did they lose Anik, their best player for this week, but the stand-in they got, like, I'm not gonna harp on it, but like the stand-in was, let's just say the stand-in was not Anik. That's the
Well,
nicest
just
way
say
I
what
can
you
put
mean.
it.
He's bad, right? That's what you mean.
What's the
Yeah,
stand-in?
really.
That's what you
The
mean?
screen's blurry. Who's the
All
stand-in?
it's called All About a Bear. Okay,
Okay,
all I'm
okay.
saying is that
You're
this
saying
is
he's
the same
all
also a
about.
stand-in.
Dota, is what
This
you're
is the
saying.
same
All
stand-in
I'm
we
sa-
played against and they threw out us.
Yeah, so all I'm saying though is that player's pretty bad. Like in these two
Jesus.
games, it was pretty bad. It was like
Dude,
consistently
Why are you
caught
being so
out.
toxic?
I'm not
Actually
trying to be
toxic.
They
toxic, but
tried their
like there was
best. You're
two.
being very
Dude,
toxic.
okay, all I'm
Dude, their
saying there
pause
was
one has the most depth on the team, and you're flaming the offlaner.
Yeah, yeah.
I
because
thought you were
Let's
supposed to be an
why.
offlaner, dude. Where's your
okay. All I'm
solidarity?
That's
saying
why.
is all I'm
That's no.
saying.
He's an offlaner. That's why he's
Solidarity.
holding
No,
him to a
wait.
higher standard.
Listen,
True
listen.
carries.
If there's one thing I am, it's that I'm not even an offlaner. I'm a Tide player. Okay, this
Yes,
made me very upset. There was at
brother.
least 2 to 3 times where this Tide ravaged after his entire team was dead. I was like,
I hate
why
it.
are you ravaging?
I
Like,
hate
what
it.
are you
I hate
ravaging
it so
for?
much.
It's so bad. It's like the
Well, it
worst
does
thing
100
that you can
damage.
do. It's so bad. Anyway,
This is 100 damage to everyone.
I just wanted to throw these
500 damage.
caveats. I just wanted to throw these caveats out first. But anyway, what do you guys think about this first game and just the series overall? Because, like I said, I think this was going to be a pretty close series. I'm shocked to see it go the way of like Pistons in a 2-0, but I think if you factor everything in, it makes sense. But
I think the ET one is big. I didn't even really realize that until you pointed that out. I forgot that was a bug. So I think that's a big beat because that eats a ban from my perspective. And
100%.
Look at the bans on Spooky Scary Skeletons. It's Rhino
Yeah.
Hero, Rhino Hero, Rhino Hero, Rhino Hero, Rhino Hero, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think the DP says. I could be wrong on
Say
that one, but the
DP
first
could
4
be
are all
mid.
Rhino Heroes.
Yeah. 4 offlaners.
And then
I will also
he
say,
ended up on Centaur. Yeah.
yeah, center. Yeah, I will also say too, like I don't think Spike normally gets out drafted a lot. I do actually prefer Pistons draft game one. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of what they cooked up on the side of SSS this game in particular. I think it can work for sure. But if you don't have your big cooldown ultis, like if you don't have your Ravage, you don't have your Golem, I just don't know how you fight on that side. Whereas if you look at the Pistons, like they can kind of go a lot, right? Like they've got this Undying, you can Flesh Golem, you can Tomb, you can run at people. You got the Centaur, you can run at people. I think it
I
was
think I'll push
easier.
back there. I think that yes, they're a big team fight like multis, but I mean, look at Abaddon, Ember, Weaver, right? Like those heroes
True,
can
yeah.
sustain and reposition fights. Like you can take a fight for like a minute and a half on them going across the whole map. Like those heroes can just keep going. So I like while yes, they do have the 2 big team fight ones, I think that they still have enough kind of like skirmish potential that it shouldn't have been that hard. I didn't end up seeing the games, but I mean, obviously Odin's going to lose mid, and like he ended up with what, Mage Slayer, BKB. Is that enough
Mhm.
for an Ember to have impact? I think their usual game plan is like extend the game long enough for Odin to just be able, like, he played Quap against us. He got absolutely demolished by someone's kid, and he just like shows up a few times with Sonic Wave off cooldown and dishes out 500 pure damage, and like that's good enough. But this Ember, I don't think you're going to have enough impact from him. We were always just so surprised that they can get away with like losing mid so hard and then still winning the game, like with impact from their mid. But in this case, I think that was what held them back a bit.
Twubs, you got anything to add to this first game here?
Not about the game specifically. I have something to say about these two teams, if you're ready for that.
Yeah, go for it. Go.
Yeah, this
Start
is
with
like
cocaine
freaking.
and
This is like freaking Hollywood Hulk Hogan versus like Nature Boy Ric Flair heel off. These are
yeah.
both
Hell
these
yeah,
are
dude.
villain teams.
Let's
These
go.
are villain teams. I like to see them beat each other up, and I hope they
Yep.
lose every other series.
Both
And that's
heels.
healthy for the division. 89 Pistons is a Rhino stack, and those are villain teams. And he likes it that way. He wants the negative attention. He wants to like rise above that. If he wins, like oh yeah, everyone was sleeping on me and my team. So he's on board with that, and he needs to be a good heel. It's good for the division. He likes that. Now the new one is Spooky Scary Skeletons were not heels in the past seasons. This
But they're
is a villain
cheaters.
team. We need
They
to
are
accept this is a villain
big
team,
cheaters.
and
They are.
we're treating them as such, and I like it. And I like that Dr. Spike is in the trenches. He's arguing with people in Conk chat. He's insulting them. He's got some good insults back and forth, and people insult him in good ways. It's
Yes.
awesome. I hope no one has too much hurt feelings, because it is great content and it is a great contribution
Thanks,
to the
bud.
league to have a high quality villain team. Now we have 2 high quality villain teams.
It's good. We're the good guys.
Absolutely.
We are everyone in
Absolutely.
this call. We are good people and we are good guys. And let's
We're
hope
the
we
good
win
guys,
and beat
they're the
these
villains?
bad teams. Yeah.
Okay.
MHK's got to be one of the most good guy teams, I think. Like with
Definitely a
the
good guy
addition of
team.
Printer, I think that's like a pretty wholesome team.
Good guy
100%.
energy for sure.
Now
I'm starting to
something
tip
else.
in games. I didn't used to tip too much before, but I'm tip a shit ton now. I think it's in
Oh,
people's heads.
everyone
So
does.
I'm on my way to be a villain. I'm working on it.
So I
There's
also
a
am gonna
time.
add this in too. I don't
Firing.
know if you guys knew this about this first game. Fucking hilarious. So they crushed them so hard. They started dropping mantles and staff of wizardries and breaking them in front
That's
of them
awesome.
as
That's
they
what
were
I'm
winning.
talking about.
So
It's
they were
awesome.
like,
That's what I'm
they were
talking.
going
They're
pretty crazy.
villains.
Now,
You gotta do it.
what I will say is this though. What I will say is this: is that I love that shit. I think that's fucking hilarious. I
Me too.
encourage that. However, doing that to a team where where the enemy team's best player was not playing, that's a little
Yeah.
cringe. That's a little
Boo,
cringe.
boo,
That's like
That's not a real
beating
game
up.
for sure.
Yeah, that's like beating
definitely
up
not
the
a real
fucking.
game.
You can't hold the villain heel team to your standard of morality.
It's not
It's a good
even
point.
morality. It's just like I don't know,
It is
bro. Like
cringe,
you,
though.
you literally
It
beat
is.
a
You're
team where
right.
like their best player was out sick, dog. Like I don't know. Like I would do that shit if you fucking beat them
It's
with
a rigged
Anic
team.
and like
Yeah.
I don't believe that. I don't
think
hold
it's
that
rigged.
belief, but let's just say you do hold that. 89 Pistons, they probably do. It's a rigged team. Fuck them.
Yeah,
You want
that's
to cheat in
true.
my league? I'm going to break staffs of wizardry in front of you and tip you and all
Both of these
chat.
teams are
voice
rigged.
lines.
Don't get ahead of yourself. Both these teams are cheating and rigged.
Anyway, as for game 2 though, game 2 is also pretty interesting. Now we actually I don't think we can see game 2.
No.
No, so we
What
can't.
happened here, by the way?
So
What-
okay, I'll tell you what happened. So game 2.
Well, they daisied.
I think so. This is the information I got, and this is secondhand. So don't take this with a grain of salt. So, in the lobby, like when they were like drafting, right? Someone on 89 Pistons told Spike's team, and I saw it because I watched Sun's POV, so I can confirm this. They told them, said, "Do not take Dazoon. It is bugged. It will crash the game." So they were warned. Skeletons were warned. Let it be known. They were warned. Now, the person that took it was Kalza, who played Warlock in game 2. My information that I was told was that Kalza was actually AFK and did not see the message. So what happened was the game got late enough. He's playing Warlock, so obviously you're gonna take
That's
Dazoon
insanely
because it's
good item.
really good on
Yeah.
Warlock, right? It crashed the game. Okay.
That
Now,
sucks.
really quickly, by the time that happened, Skeletons had been mega'd. Okay, they had been mega'd. They were down in the net worth. Right. In theory, they should have lost the game. Now, I will mention this though. They had actually just won a team fight. They had killed people on
Ooh.
dieback.
Oh,
Their
that's
carry and Rhino,
that's a much
and
different state.
and Kalza the Warlock had Eggs Refresher. So like you know what I mean?
Man.
So like Warlock, like you could cook in
That's
this. You know what I'm
tough.
saying? Like you could cook
Yeah.
potentially. Potentially you could cook. However, they were forced to take the L, which in this instance I'm actually okay with because I think Pistons warned you. I understand that Kalza was AFK. I get that.
Yeah.
But I think
That's
the onus
are they
is
supposed to know
on
he's
the rest
AFK?
of them. Yeah,
Right.
the onus is on the rest of Skeletons to tell him. I'm sorry. Like the rest
Yep,
of them
100%.
knew. You have to tell your player. Like in our series this week with in Champion, Yoshi like told us once, told us again when
I
the
would say
neutral
I
items
said
were
it
coming up.
during draft and then at like 34
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah,
Because
and
I
he
didn't
even
want a
alt
game to
chatted
end
it
in
to
a
both
crash
teams.
or a forfeit, because that's just boring.
Yeah, 100%. So I think I don't know. I think it's on skeletons there. So that's my take. I don't know if you guys have a different take. Now I will say it sucks though. 100%. It fucking sucks, bro. No one wants to get forced to take an L. That shit blows, especially when you're in that situation of like the Eggs Refresher Warlock,
Right.
because you can win
You
games against
you can
Megas.
like probably
100%.
win. Yeah.
Yeah, it's theoretically possible, but I think it's actually deserved loss in this instance. I don't know what you guys
And
think.
rules are rules. Like that's the point of them, right? And yeah, it's definitely on them to communicate with their team. If he was AFK during like an important communication, that's it's an L. It's an L. You did the wrong thing. Unfortunately, it sucks that
100%.
that's the case. This game should not have these bugs. Like this is a fucking 20-year-old game. It shouldn't have bugs like this. But whatever.
They
Gender
gotta stop
patches.
releasing patches on Thursday nights, man.
I mean,
Do
it
it on
just sucks for
Wednesday,
us
do it on
specifically. We
Friday.
need to just move the league day. It's like they're on a schedule because they're a business. We're just a bunch of fucking blokes playing
How
our
about this? What's
beer
wrong with
league.
Valve? They release it at like 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's like 5 p.m. in Seattle. Go home. Go home. Release the patch at noon or 9 a.m. You
Nah,
have a whole day to fix the problems. Why do you
I
want
mean
to
that.
work at 8
I
p.m.?
agree with
What's wrong
that.
with you?
Yeah, I agree with that.
That is also true. That is
As a
also true.
software engineer,
It's like
Twubs, do you
nonsensical.
think I'm right about this though? Like what's your take on this? Like would you have forced a
On the
remake?
bug?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like would you have
no,
forced
dude.
a
I
remake?
typed in all chat game 1 against Core's Carry Quest. We're up like, no, sorry, it was game 2. One of the games. I was like, I know we're gonna win this game. I'm sure of it. I do not want them to pick the Zoom Blood right because I know we're gonna win. So I typed in all chat like, "Hey, warning you, if you get this item, the game's gonna crash." Just so we'd have like a layer of evidence to say to the admins like, "Hey, like we don't want to play this game again." We like warned them, and that's not like being bad manners. Just like, "Oh, we're gonna win. I don't want to deal with playing another game, staying up to like midnight playing more of these games." And so if I'm in Rhino's situation here, or if ever Rhino's the captain, I think I would have done the same thing.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
It's just
Now,
unfortunate. Hopefully, like the bugs just don't exist. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
unlucky happens.
Yeah, do you have like 2 more minutes, Twubs? Because I think there's one more.
Yeah, it's fine.
series.
Yeah, Chandler's drafted right now in this game, and I was just picking the heroes I want when time comes. If we lose, we lose.
Cool.
His fault,
That's
not mine.
cool. We'll be really quick here, really
Yeah.
I'd say
quick,
just the
because
last
I'm
match.
Stinky had to go, so R.I.P. Stinky. Thank you for joining. This one, now I will say really quickly. So Hog did 2-0 Edge Unit. I think that's the result that pretty much everyone expected. I already kind of gave my thoughts on Edge Unit last week, where I said that I think the team is going to struggle. I think it's on Revamp to really kind of carry this team with the captaining. I expected this 2-0. I think it made sense. Twubs, do you have anything to add about this particular matchup?
Did you see them get their vengeance
Did
at
I
the
what?
leukemia team fight against cancer game?
Yeah, I was
He was
playing.
in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phoenix
I
was
was,
in that.
Oh, you were in there. Yeah, dude. They're getting the
I was
redemption.
playing
I'm
Bloods,
taking
bro.
Edgy. They got unlucky this night. They would have won otherwise. They were playing off
Yeah,
their
they
game.
played on the wrong
I
night.
watched that one.
Unfortunate.
They just need to have to do some Oregon Trails a few times.
Oh, don't get me
No,
started on the fucking
Heroes
Oregon
of Golf
Trail.
seems like a good team. I don't know anything about any of these people. Edge Unit, it's got Ranger on it, so I think this team has a lot of growth. I think they need to grow a lot as a team, but I believe in their potential. That's probably all I'll say about them.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I would say once again, unsurprisingly, in this game one, fucking Ursa again wins. So I'm pretty sure that means every game Ursa played, Ursa won, except for Spooky Scary Skeletons game one. Otherwise, it
What?
is like a 100% win rate hero. So,
Why is there a Magnus 1? Why are we what?
so okay, this is something. This
Good
is something
question.
I was gonna mention. This is
Good
something I was
question.
gonna
Last
mention.
pick, by the way.
Yeah,
Last
last pick Magnus 1.
So
Uh-huh.
Revamp said he was kind of led into this by Captain Little Dinky. As soon as I saw that was Jeff playing Pause One Magnus, it's like, you guys fucked up. That is not a Jeff hero. He should not have played that. That was a big mistake. I think that was one of the biggest reasons they lost. Otherwise, though, the games were actually relatively close. I think both games were 45 minutes. So I will say, like, for Edge Unit, that's pretty cool. Now, mind you, they were losing a lot of game one, though. Like, they were pretty fucking down in that entire game. Game two, kind of game two is a beatdown, actually. Wow. Yeah, that was pretty rough, actually. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just think that Hog's a better team. Honestly, I think that's the
mid
reality.
Conqueror got destroyed here.
He got destroyed, and it's against a primal?
A Primal, yeah. So Primal just got to run
Yeah.
around the map after that, yeah.
It's also tricky because I do think that is one of the best mids of the division for sure, and I think that that's where you're really gonna see those mid diffs. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a large portion of that. And you know what? The thing that's funny actually is that I kind of like Edge Unit's draft this game. I think it is actually pretty good. Like they have a lot of disable, they have control, they have save too with the Tusk and the Kunkka. I don't know. I actually like it, but you know what? A is fucking really good with Primal, a lot of damage, a lot of counter initiation, and I just think Hog has better players. I think that's what happened there. But
Yeah, they learned their lesson at June in game 1 because they let the Invoker through, and I think the Invoker bowled out, which is like a hung classic.
yeah, that is a very
He
big
like grinds
hung.
that hero, and so
So
mistake not
he
to ban it.
actually,
That's just like a scouting mistake, I think.
I believe I believe he has like 1,300 games of Invoker. So I'm actually very shocked that they let Hung
Yeah, go
get
look at his
Invoker.
stats or whatever. It shows the past like 25 games.
Oh,
and it's really like
800. Sorry, 800
half
games.
is
900,
Invoker, the other half
900.
is Morphling, and there'll be like one game on another hero.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big mistake. I think that's like a little bit of humor. That's like what I did last season, and a lot of teams did last season against Odin, where you like don't ban Invoker because you're like, oh, it's fine, it's only Invoker. Then you lose to the Invoker, and you're like, oh fuck,
Now
won't
we
do that
gotta
again.
ban it.
So do that again. Anyway, that wraps up the week's games, though. Twubs, I appreciate you staying till the end, especially because you have a scrim going on. So that's you
Actively
better.
ongoing.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
actively playing a scrim, and you're still
Chandler's
here
down, so
wasting
he's
time.
using our reserve time. He's at 1:30. Chandler, if you're listening, you're gonna listen to this, I bet. All right, we gotta not waste our reserve time on the first phase bans. I'll give you a pass hit the square.
On the
It
first
triggers the
phase
shit out of me,
bans.
dude. It triggers me so bad.
Chandler, when you listen to this, dude, you gotta understand it was worth it for HO. It was my cocaine college experience. It's so worth it. Oh my god. Anyway, so thanks for joining. Thanks to
Thanks
old
for having me.
Stinky as well. Much appreciated. Twubs, you're welcome back anytime you want because that was fucking great. So, anyways, hopefully everyone enjoys it, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.